sure you do that as quick as possible. Just go straight to YouTube. You can find Voice of the People Abuja. Just put in those keywords, find it, subscribe to a page, like all our posts right there. You can also take out time to check out our archive, some of the shows you've missed, some of the conversations we had, and of course some of the commentaries we had on some of the headlines previously. And now talking about today, we'll be checking out the headline across several newspaper platforms. Checking out some headlines on the Punch, Daily Trust, The Guardian, Vanguard, and also the cable newspaper, The Sun, and Nigerian Tribune. So these are some of the newspapers I'll be picking our headlines from this morning. But quickly, let's just run through some of the brief headlines we have. We'll be fleshing out the headlines later on at the 7:30 hour when Rufai OSENI will be joining us, and also be having a conversation with Larry Ogwego, in-house analyst. We'll be fleshing out some of the headlines we'll be talking about this morning as well. So get started. Let's start with some of the trending headlines on the Punch newspaper this morning. And if you have a copy of the Punch, you will definitely see the particular headline. This is the masthead on the Punch newspaper for today, and it talks about the Lagos-Calabar Highway. And on the headline on the Punch, it says Lagos-Calabar Highway, federal government plans compensation in 9 states, put cost at 15 trillion naira. That is the Lagos-Calabar Highway. That is the lead headline on the Punch. Federal government plans compensation in 9 states, put cost at 15 trillion naira. The deck of the lead headline or the masthead says Tinubu notice for property owners. NSC says project will improve state economies. That's the masthead on the Punch newspaper for today. And also looking at other leading headlines as well. The OPEC is saying Nigeria's oil production drops again. Now 1.23 million barrels per day. Still on the headline on the Punch, it says law to terminate many cases at appeal court coming. Law to terminate many cases at appeal court coming, and this is according to the Attorney General of the Federation. And still on the Punch, this is on Wigwe. Ogubanjo's family sues U.S. firm for helicopter crash. And Wigwe, Ogubanjo's family sues U.S. firm for helicopter crash. And still on the headline, it says Sanu Naso berate minister over half pay promise. Sanu Naso berate minister over half pay promise. Government shuts Dosumu market. Sanwo-Olu hints at building demolition. Government shuts Dosumu market. Sanwo-Olu hints at building demolition. The details of that particular headline is on page 6 of the Punch this morning. And talking about other headlines, make Yoruba teaching language in Southwest schools, says Afenifere. And so on the headlines, Junior Pope, AGN suspends Riverside movie shootings, police launch probe. And this is coming on the backdrop of the death of Nollywood actor Junior Pope, who drowned during a boat accident. Now AGN has suspended Riverside movie shootings. Police launch probe. NAFDAC bans turkey-made soap. NAFDAC bans turkey-made soap. Tracks fake Indian injection powder. That is on page 27 of the Punch newspaper for today. You can pick a copy of the Punch and check out all the details of those headlines this morning. And also, let's move on to other headlines making the round this morning. And let's check out the headlines on the Guardian newspaper. And on the Guardian for today, you will definitely see the masthead, fresh concerns as youth get high on feces, nutmeg, illicit substances. And this is the big story on the Guardian newspaper for today, and it's talking about hard times for addicts. Fresh concerns as youth get high on feces, nutmeg, illicit substances. That is on the Guardian newspaper. The details of the big story is on page 4 and page 5 of the Guardian newspaper for today. And still on the headlines, it says Afenifere urges Southwest governors to get federal government grants for farmers. Details on page 27. And on The cover: Lagos Calabar to be completed in 8 years at 4 billion naira per year. Lagos Calabar to be completed. That is the headline on The Guardian this morning. Lagos Calabar to be completed in 8 years at 4 billion naira per kilometer. And still on the headline on The Guardian this morning, it says top 4 banks earn 8 trillion naira in 12 months, record 3.5 trillion naira FX gain. Details is on the business page of The Guardian newspaper, and it is on page 16. So that is the headline right there on The Guardian newspaper. Still talking about The Guardian, Nigeria record $3.2 billion loss in Q1 as oil production hits record low. And this one is now credited to the Minister of Power, talking about Adelabu. It says, Minister apologizes for jive on electricity consumption culture, cheap tariff. And for those who listened to the show a couple of days ago, I talked about the statement credited to the Minister of Power. I think I will have a repeat of it on who said what. So in case you missed out on it, now the minister is now apologizing for making such, some people call it insensitive remark on power consumption and the cheap tariff in the country. At 7:15, I'll play the sound bites and all the sound bites as well. And still on The Guardian, inquiry on Okwama killings, journalists barred as stakeholders worry over fairness. Journalists barred as stakeholders worry over fairness, and that is on the inquiry on Okwama killings. And finally, on The Guardian newspaper, the headline says Christian elders link insecurity to foreign invasion. That is the headlines on The Guardian newspaper for today. You can pick up a copy of The Guardian and check out the details of those stories. Now to Daily Trust for today. Daily Trust has its lead story, the masthead credited to the statement of El-Rufai, the Minister of Works. No personal interest in 15 trillion naira coastal highway project. This is according to Mai. And still on the headline, the Nigerian Air Force have been quoted saying, we killed many terrorists in Zamfara. We killed many terrorists in Zamfara. And still on the headline on the Daily Trust, it says Bulgarian envoy, others attend Salah Dobar in Katsina. Condolences as first Abia civilian governor Ogbonnaya Onu dies at the age of 72. And may so rest in perfect peace. And so on the Daily Trust, Discos post 37 apologies to band A customers in 1 week. The apologies have started rolling in for not meeting up to the 20 hours minimum power requirement for you to be in band A. These are some of the conversations we're having as regard these electricity distribution companies. If at the end of the day you're being charged 225 naira per kilowatt hour for power as a band A user, the question is, when you don't have a commiserate power that is up to the 20 hours as proposed by the NERC, that's the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, who now pays for the shortfall of the power? Will these distribution companies now give you some form of palliative or some form of unit to make for the shortfall in the power distribution? So these are some of the questions we ask. Imagine discos are putting out 37 apologies in just 1 week to apologize to customers for not even giving them up to the required amount of power. Nigeria, we need to do better. The distribution company needs to do better beyond increasing the tariff. Are you giving us the requisite power that is tantamount to the amounts we pay for it? So these are key questions the NERC and the distribution companies need to have to answer. And if there are no clear-cut answers to this, it is necessary there should be a reversal to what we used to have before now. Still on the Guardian Daily Trust, I beg your pardon, quickly, let me run through 3 more headlines making the rounds on the paper. And it says Afcon backed CBN suspension of dollar collateral for Naira loans. And still on Daily Trust, Bauchi governor said, I have no reason not to support APC-led governor. That is what Bauchi State governor is saying at the moment, that he has no reason not to support the APC-led governor. And we know that Bala Mohammed, who is the governor of Bauchi State, is of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. And this leaves a lot of questions to ask. What is happening within the structures of the PDP? And also, finally, on Daily Trust this morning, the headline says Junior Pope, AGN suspends movies involving boat rides. Musawa mourns. That's the headline on Daily Trust this morning. We take one more headline and then you cover of the newspaper, and then we'll move on to who said what right here on the front page review. And also, let's check out the headline this morning on the cable. On the cable, it says it talks about a couple of headlines, and let's start with the top story, where it has been said, I did not intend to insult Nigerians. Adelabu apologizes over keeping freezer remarks. Yes, that's the question. The remark Adelabu made. He's now apologizing for the statement he made. But we'll go on a quick break. When we come back, it will be time for Who Said What. And on Who Said What, I will play the soundbite, the statement the Minister of Power, Adelabu, made, that he has come out to publicly apologize to Nigeria. Sometimes our ministers and those in power will just get to make irresponsible remarks, not knowing that to whom much is given, much is expected. You don't be in power and you make some unsolicited remarks against the people you are leading. And that has been the challenge with us as a country, Nigeria. We'll be back in a bit. Stay here. This is the Front Page Review on Voice of the People in 96.1 FM. Don't move, Marcel. Stay with us.
Breaking news on VOP 96.1 FM.
Sports. Business.
The exchange rate will begin to move towards purchasing power parity value.
Health.
Help the patient as much as you can.
Politics.
Everybody knew that I was just managing.
I withdraw that statement.
Each day you open television, weekend. Let's be poor.
Breathe. Security.
We're making some arrests already, and we can assure Nigerians that we are on top of the game.
And your voice.
But immediately they assume what is, but the story will change.
Talk of lights, talk of good road, talk of some other things.
Bad roads. They should try and do something to it.
The Morning Ride. Weekdays from 6 a.m. Voice of the People. Now you have a voice. It's thrilling, controversial, heated, thought-provoking. Catch Rufai OSENI.
Came here to misrepresent the facts today as regards subsidy removal.
Kesire Aqua.
Report was that $9 billion is lost yearly to illegal mining.
And Simeon Sunday.
If you know something of this nature is happening within your community, why didn't you raise an alarm?
On the Front Page Review, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. Now you have a voice.
You're welcome back. This is the Front Page Review on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. My name is Simeon Sunday. And of course, we are checking out some of the headlines making the rounds. But before we get straight to the part where we do our analysis on the headlines this morning, quickly let's check out who said what. This is playing some sound bites of notable individuals making comments on some issues in the country. And of course, one of the lead story on the headline this morning is the Minister of Power apologizing for a remark he made on the level of consumption of power in the country and the cheap tariff. And he has come out to officially apologize for that particular statement. Let's take a listen to the statement that is now making the Minister of Power, Adelabu, apologize to Nigerians.
Talk to ourselves. We don't have the culture of consumption management in this country in terms of power, just because of the cheapness of the tariff we pay in power. A lot of people come back from work, they want to have dinner, or they want to play with their colleagues down the road. They switch on the AC for the room to be cooling before they come back. Yes, Some people will be going to work in the morning. A freezer has been left on for days. They will still leave it on. When all the items in the freezer are already frozen, and 5, 6, 8 hours of their absence will not make it to the freeze. They will still leave it. It will continue power. Just because we are not paying enough. We've all been overseas before. We know how conscious the power consumers are to consumption of electricity. We must be able to talk to ourselves.
Okay, you've listened to the Minister of Power, Adelabu, making remarks on how cheap electricity is in Nigeria, and that is why an average Nigerian can, afford to just leave their air conditioning system on, go out so the room will be chilled, and also that is why Nigerians can afford to leave their refrigerators and freezers, open without, shutting down the power so that the food in the freezer can be well frozen. Looking at some of these remarks made by Adelabu, he has come out to officially apologize to Nigerians. I just have to take that again so Nigerians get to know why the Minister of Power is now apologizing to Nigerians for the remark he made. Now you know why. And away from that, let's move on to more sound bites making the rounds this morning right here on the front page review. And of course, let's start with that of this notable individual and what he had to say, especially as regards the issue of power in the country. And because of this particular headline, this is according to Oduton, Sunday Oduton. Sunday Oduton is actually the spokesman of the electricity distribution companies in Nigeria. And he had to talk about, how most of these discos haven't made any profit in the country since 2013. Get to listen to Sunday Oduton speak.
Inform to all Nigerians, and this they can check very easily on the website of our regulator. There is no disco in Nigeria that have made $1 profit since 2013 November. Let me repeat.
I'm talking about 1
no
trillion,
disco,
trillion naira.
Yes, what you saw and what you're talking about is the money that were collected by the disco. And let me put it in context. If you are doing a business, let me give you the example of a disco. A particular disco 2 months ago bought energy worth of 12 billion. And at the end of the month, that was last month, we collected 8 billion. When Arise TV and others hear 8 billion collected by BEDC, they will say, oh, that's a lot of money. What they did not report.
When you say collected, let's get it clear.
When
let's
I give you a bill,
yes.
or you vend, you buy credit on your prepaid meter, all the money represent collection at the end of the month. But what I'm saying is that I'm a distributor of electricity. I'm buying it to sell to customers. And what I'm buying, since 2013, there has never been any 100% collection. So I put 10 billion naira worth of electricity into your neighborhood or a state or into my franchise area, and at the end of the day, I was only able to collect 40% of it. What has happened over the years is there has been an increase in our collection efficiency, in our ability to collect. But up till now, we have not been able to collect.
Okay, so that that is the spokesperson of the electricity distribution companies Nigeria talking about the issue of the discos not even making profit since 2013. The question that we get to ask, is it that 11 years for the past 11 years no disco have actually post profit? These are key questions we also need to ask. It is necessary they come give us the fact and the full details of what is happening in the electricity sector. Why are the discos not making profit? Why are they not making money? And what can be done to avert some of this problem or these challenges and to make the discos profitable? And another question you get to ask yourself is, if the discos have not post profit in 11 years, why are they still in business? Why are they still running? Why haven't they folded up I haven't seen any business that will post losses for consecutively for 4 or 5 years, and they're still in business. They're still thriving. They still want to do the business without, saying, okay, it's officially time for us to close up and sell to someone else. These are some questions. How truthful is this remark by, the spokesperson of the distribution companies talking about Sunday Oduton right here? Key questions to be asked. But let's move away from that. Let's check out this statement credited to the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. We know that the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road is now a big thing, and there have been a lot of reports flying around that a particular owner of an investment alongside the coastal area will be losing a portion of his investment due to the construction of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. And, the owner of the investment said there are over 12,000 people who are directly or indirectly employed in that particular facility. And if this is done, the demolition takes place. Well, the federal government takes a portion of that particular investment due to the construction. Over thousands of people will lose their job. But Dave Umahi was on television yesterday and he spoke about this. And he has actually allayed the fears of Nigerians that they will not tamper with the investment of a landmark. Let's get to listen to him.
I'm told, and that's the claim of, Eco Atlantic, that even where landmark, is situated, belongs to them. Okay? But that is not supposed to be my business. I went to see landmark yesterday. I had to tour that shoreline, and it's not the only one that is involved. That's me yesterday, and that's landmark. So we had a very good chat. At the end of the day, I demanded for Cook, for him to know that I came in peace. But I just went there to, understand something. His Excellency says that 12,000 jobs will be lost. And I told Landmark by what we are doing that no job will be lost. What could be lost is the shoreline and people that go to play at the shoreline. But his facilities are all intact because we reduced the corridor to 50 meters. And so I saw it, there's no permanent structure other than few shanties along that shoreline that is affected.
Have you recently done that? Because they were
I said I was there yesterday. You can see me with Landmark yesterday, and you can see two of us laughing. He was happy. I even offered
because you are laughing doesn't mean things are okay.
No, it's not because I'm laughing. I've never seen you laugh when things are not okay.
Okay, yeah, that was the Minister of Power. Yeah, sorry, I beg your pardon, Minister of Works, speaking on the issue of this demolition that might actually occur during the process of the construction of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. And according to the Minister of Works, he has actually said that no real investment will be affected by the demolition. He has actually met with the owners of that investment, Landmark, and he has clearly told them, yes, looked at it, and there are just few shanties that will be demolished, not the main investment. And no 12,000 persons will lose their job as a result of that particular development. So that is what, Dave Umahi have had to say. But let's move away from that and let's talk about the drama rocking the Labour Party at the moment. It seems like we might not see an end to this, issue. And according to the National Legal Advisor of the Labour Party, Kehinde Edun, he has gotten to talk about the NLC and its powers in the Labour Party. According to him, he said the NLC is powerless to try anything with Labour Party. We know that the NLC have actually called for the sack or the resignation of the current party chairman. And looking at the Abure, the convention held by Abure just recently, the NLC have actually called that a very shambolic convention because they are not part of it and they're not in support of it. But the National Legal Advisor of the Labour Party have come to talk about the place of the Labour Party, the NLC, I beg your pardon, in the Labour Party.
NLC is powerless to do anything with Labour Party. They are on a frolic of their own. They have no powers, they have no locus to even interfere in the running of the affairs of Labour Party. As far back as 2015, 3rd September 2015,
INEC wrote to Labour Party that was led by Comrade Ayuba Waba, and I said that the commission has reviewed the documents and the records pertaining to Labour Party in the custody of INEC, and membership of Labour Party in Article 1 and Article 9 of Labour Party Constitution 2009 does not confer any special or superior status on the NLC. That is clear. The laws of Nigeria cannot permit an association to run a political party. Section 221 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria clearly states that no association other than a political party can canvass for votes in support of a political party, can contribute to the funds of a political party.
In spite of the fact that the NLC registered the Labour Party, they feel
that is not
they
true.
have a great stake in the party.
That is not true. No association can register a political party. Our laws do not permit it. INEC wouldn't have registered that party.
Who registered the Labour Party?
Individuals, promoters. Now, it is only individuals that can register a party. It is only individuals that can be members of a political party. No association can be a member of a political party.
Are these members of the NLC?
Some of them could have been members of it, and other Nigerians. They registered the party as individuals, as Nigerian citizens, not as an association. And that is the law. Membership of the party is on an individual basis. And that is it. And in any organization, that's what they call the majority rule. When you are in the political party and you seek for any office, you have to seek the support of the majority. And the mode of assumption of office in the party is clearly stated in the constitution of the party. How you can assume leadership of the party? NLC is powerless to do anything with Labour Party.
Okay, so that is Edo, the National Legal Advisor of the Labour Party, speaking on the NLC and its place in the Labour Party. He has actually quoted some forms of constitution. He has quoted a lot in making his point on this particular subject matter. We'll just go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll be having a conversation with Rufai OSENI, and this is one of the questions we'll be posing to Rufai this morning right here, so we can speak to this particular situation. Let's stay here. We'll be right back in a bit.
Breaking news on VOP 96.1 FM.
Sports. Business.
The exchange rate will begin to move towards purchasing power parity value.
Health.
Help the patient as much as you can.
Politics.
Now, everybody knew that I was just managing.
I withdraw that statement.
Each day you open television, weekend.
Let's be poor. Breathe. Security.
We're making some arrests already, and we can assure Nigerians that we are on top of the game.
And your voice.
But immediately they assume one case, but the story will change.
Talk of lights, talk of good road, talk of some other things.
Bad roads. They should try and do something to it.
The Morning Ride. Weekdays from 6 a.m. Voice of the people. Now you have a voice.
Good morning and welcome back. This is the front page review right here on VOP 96.1 FM. We've been joined by El-Rufai OSENI. Good morning to you.
Bless you, my brother. Let's go straight to it.
Okay, anyway, let's get straight and let's talk about the drama rocking the Labour Party right now, because a lot of people are speaking, and the National Legal Advisor of the Labour Party is also speaking, and that's talking about Edo. He quoted, he was even on Arise TV, I think that was yesterday, and he talked about the place of the Labour Congress in the Labour Party, that the NLC doesn't even have the right to run a political party. Now, looking at all those disparities, some say that the Labour Congress formed the Labour Party, and he also saying now that the Labour Party, and it's not true. The Labour Congress doesn't even have a stake or a say in the Labour Party. At this point, Mr. Rufai, what do you have to make about all of this statement flying around as regards the NLC and the Labour Party?
What you said is not true, because when you go and check the corporation document of the Labour Party, NLC plays a role in it. I think that's been settled by many courts. What they are trying to do now is they've decimated the Labour Party. As far as I'm concerned, the Labour Party is gone. And it's a fight for interest, and that's what success brings. And that's why you see the politicians and political parties have no ideology. And it's the decadent level of ideology politics that's what is disturbing and destroying the prospect of them. So all of this is a fight for the soul of the party. factionalized fight. They've destroyed the party.
At this point, is
what
that...
you will now start seeing will now start being splinter groups, like was the case with Labour Party before, where you now had the emergence of ZLP. They've destabilized the party.
Okay, at this point, is there even a saving grace for the Labour Party? Because we've seen a lot of factions, several people coming out to make several remarks in support of their own stand and their position in the Labour Party.
I don't think, I might be wrong, please, I put a caveat out there. I don't think anything might happen. It will be difficult to save it at this point because they've seen that it's a cash cow. And you will see by the next election cycle, Peter Obi will have to make his decision. I don't know what the decision might be.
Okay, with that being said, let's move away from that. It seems like it's an era of political destabilization in some way, or political parties destabilization. Away from the Labour Party, let's talk about the PDP right now. We've seen that the PDP governors, they've now even given assurance to support President Bola Tinubu's administration. And this remark have left, the PDP in some form of dilemma on the way forward as they begin the process of appointing, a new national chairman next week. They're having a next week Thursday. So looking at the PDP governors saying they are supporting the federal government, are they now trying to play national politics, no longer politics, party politics, or is there an interest somewhere that we do not really know about?
You see, the PDP too is in disarray. A lot of interest about. You see, the thing with politicians is this: after all is said and done, once elections have been won, they start to realign, and it's the realignment that you see that doesn't even make them care about their political parties again. All of this is for what I call shopnomics, the economics of shopping by people. They are hungry; they want to shop. Once politics is getting close by again, they realign. So it's shop. Government of shop by the shop by the shopless.
What would we call this?
So that's what is happening.
What will we call this one? It's hypocrisy.
No, there's no democracy. There's chopocracy. Government of those that want to shop, government of those that are shopping, and government of those that envisage and they will shop in the future. It's called chopocracy. That's what's happening. And so when you have a shopocracy, you can never have political party ideology. That's why I see that there's no ideology. Because of what they want to eat. So that's why you see that people in the PDP like Wike are serving in an APC government because I'm sure Wike looked in that election. Where's my best chance? Let me push my time with him, at least I will get something. So politicians is about their own hypocrisy. They can constantly allow themselves to power. And that's what's happening in the PDP. So there are a lot of divergent interests. People that are hoping that they will probably get something from this government. And at the same time, they want to claim that they are PDP. So that's why it's difficult to have real opposition in Nigeria. Because it's not democracy, it's shopocracy. Government of those that are shopping. Government of those that hope to chop. And government of those that are planning to chop.
Okay.
In all of this, it's never about you and I. It's about them.
Valid remark you've made. But looking at this, you get to ask yourself, what is the position of the opposition in all of this? Because we were hoping that the PDP would be a valid and a strong opposition to the APC. But we've seen some kind of romance between some members of the PDP and the APC. So it now seems like the APC are having a field day as opposed to having a watchdog with the opposition is supposed to do.
Didn't you see that the romance started with the brotherly body reaction by even the chairman of the PDP, Damago, during the election petition decider?
And that's why they are calling for his resignation. Some people are asking him to leave.
So it's not today now. So you see, and because you also forget that, like, is it Robin Thicke that sang the song Blurred Lines? There are blurred lines among this political party. Go and check. Over 50% of APC members today at some point were in PDP.
True.
Over 50% of PDP members today at some point were in APC. So they are blurred lines. So don't take it to heart. It's about the shopocracy, the shopolates.
It says chocolate. At least we've learned a new
Yes,
one.
now.
We'll put this in our vocabulary
It's chocolate.
when we're having our
That's how people
conversation.
can shop. Yeah.
Let's move away from that. Let's talk about the statement credited to Adelabu. He has now officially apologized, and I've seen his apology on over the cover of 8 newspapers this morning. I don't know if you saw the statement which he made about the consumption of electricity of Nigerians, where he said Nigerians will have on their freezer and leave it without turning it off. And we asked ourselves, if we turn off our freezer and AEDC or whatever distribution company refused to give us power and our food spoil, who would we hold responsible? And he also made a remark that Nigerians turn on their AC and go.
Don't mind him, because
but he has apologized to
because
Nigerians.
it's not his fault. It's not his fault. Don't apologize. It's not his fault. Because when you look at him and these political elites, they think that freezer is supposed to be monument. Haven't you gone into some homes where the freezer has been open for over 5 days? They will say there's no power out. And it gets to a point there because they have no so much power to the extent that, and they can't be using generator to power it because they are buying like a better generator, a better my neighbor generator, and they are already keeping things inside freezer. The freezer have turned to cupboard. So that's the kind of mindset they have about us.
Okay.
That's the kind of mindset they have about us. So they don't give people, you think these people care that much.
Should Nigerians accept the apology, or should we, stress him a bit? Because someone is saying this apology is not apology.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like he apologized, he doesn't apologize his own cup of tea. The man is they should give us power. And they should stop this scam thing they are calling band aid because the numbers do not add up. And if you want me to give numbers, I'll give you the numbers.
Yes, go ahead, because I was even going to bring that on this morning because that's one of the headlines
let me
I
give you
shared.
the numbers before I run.
Yes, please.
As we speak today, NERC released a document saying that the rates should be about 180. That's the cost reflective tariff. Why are they giving us at 225 for band aid? So those are the questions we should ask. I need to go, my brother. Bless you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Rufai, for joining us this morning.
Yeah, bless you.
Have yourself an amazing morning. Okay, anyway, that was Rufai OSENI talking about some of the headlines we have this morning right here on the show. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. But feel free to be a part of the show. We are live on YouTube. Join the conversation, drop a comment, like and subscribe to our page, and you can check out the archive of previous editions of the show that are on there. The YouTube page is Voice of the People Abuja. Voice of the People Abuja. Just find us on YouTube, subscribe to the page, drop a comment, and we are monitoring it right now. As the comments drop, we'll be taking them one after the other. This is the front page review. Let's go take a breather. When we come back, we'll be having our conversation with our in-house analyst, Larry Ogwegu, standing by live from Kenya. I'll be joining us in a bit. Don't move a muscle. Stay with us.
Breaking news on VOP 96.1 FM.
Sports. Business.
The exchange rate will begin to move towards its purchasing power parity value.
Health.
Help the patient as much as you can.
Politics.
Everybody knew that I was just managing it.
I withdraw that statement.
Each day you open television, weekend.
Let's be poor.
Breathe. Security.
We're making some arrests already, and we can assure Nigerians that we are on top of the game.
And your voice.
But immediately they assume one thing, but the story will change.
Talk of lights, talk of good road, talk of some other things.
Bad roads. They should try and do something to it.
The Morning Ride. Days from 6 a.m. Voice of the people. Now you have a voice.
You're welcome back. This is VOP 96.1 FM, 43 minutes gone past 7 o'clock, and we're still discussing the headlines right here on the show. My name is Simeon Sunday. We just had a conversation with El-Rufai OSENI. It's time for us to move our conversation forward, still talk about some of the headlines we couldn't touch on with El-Rufai OSENI, and also, get to hear Larry's take on some of the issues we are discussing this morning right here. Let's get across to Larry Ogwego right now. Hello, good morning to you. Okay, we're trying as much as possible to get connected to Larry Ogwego. Hopefully he connects with us in a bit so we can have a conversation. Okay, he's here. Good morning to you, Mr. Larry.
Yeah, good morning, Senior Sunday. How are you doing today?
We're doing
sure
great.
You enjoyed the holidays?
We tried. We're doing what we can to enjoy the holidays. Are you still in Kenya or you're back to the realities facing us here in Nigeria?
I'm still here, and yeah, I can tell you that.
Yeah, hello.
I'll be.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Actually, the realities in issue time.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay, I think the line is clear and crisp for now, so we can hear you. Now we can go ahead with our conversation this morning. Let's get started with the drama, rocking the PDP. I don't want to talk about the Labour Party since I've touched on that with El-Rufai OSENI. Let's talk about the PDP. We know that the PDP is set to have its NEC meeting next week, Thursday, and we've seen notable individuals are back. I think it was just over the holidays we saw Alhaji Atiku Abubakar in different parts of the north, having, the Salah celebrations as well. We talked about him coming back from Dubai for the NEC meeting, which he is a major stakeholder in the PDP. And now, the PDP gears up for its National Executive Committee meeting, for next week. We're seeing the People's Democratic Party governors now assuring the president that they are going to support him, that they do not have any choice but to support the federal government. In other words, the government of the APC-led president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And looking at this, is this not a dicey one for the PDP governors? Is this more of an interesting for the PDP, or is there something happening that we are not aware of?
It depends on what they mean by support. I don't like the way we make everything sound political, and I don't really understand governors declaring that they will support the president. The governors are supposed to provide governance. They're supposed to provide leadership for their state, and they're also supposed to work with whatever party that is at the center to ensure that the ship of state sails safely. Now, when we get to a stage where we're saying we'll support Mr. President, because of the nature of our politics, it may have very dangerous undertones. What we should be looking at is, what are you bringing to the table as a governor, and how do you cooperate? How do you work together with the president to deliver the genuine dividends of democracy that people are yearning for? That is what should be looking at. And when politicians in Nigeria begin to declare that they will support someone, it has very serious meaning. Most of the time, the meaning sounds political. It means that we will work hand in glove with you. And that may not be particularly good for democracy. Why do I say that? Because the governors are supposed to cooperate and partner with the government at the center, but not necessarily to control, not necessarily to dump their political leanings. You can have your political leaning, but it doesn't support you from also working with the party at the center amicably. That reminds me of a man called Sam Mbakwe, who was one of the pillars of MPP, but worked very well with the center and was able to attract a lot of projects from the MPN at the center at that time. He never talked about supporting MPN. He never dumped his party leanings, but he was not the crying governor. He would lament about the challenges in his state and attract the attention of the federal government. So I think we need to get to that point where we don't make statements that makes it look as if everything here is political. The governor should focus on providing leadership and then partnering and cooperating with the center to make Nigeria work, not to make declarations that will support this person, support that person. Sometimes this is also because of the way Nigeria works. You know, the federal government is the big brother. They are holding the big wallet, and very often they dish out money without any pattern, but based on patronage. So you see people also making statements that attract the attention of the man holding the wallet. But I think our governors should focus more on leadership at the state level and partnering in a credible manner with the center to deliver good governance to the people.
As much as is a good one, especially seeing the governors of the opposition parties stating that they are going to throw their weight behind the president, they're going to support him, to move Nigeria to the permanent side, in quotes. But does this not negate, in some ways, some of the opinion that it negates the role of the opposition, who are supposed to serve as a word dog, scrutinize your policies, tell you where you're doing wrong, and try to put you back on track? But this one, we're seeing the opposition, which is the PDP, some of the governors now saying, we are behind you, we are going to support you. The likes of the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Umoino, who has also said that he will continue to support President Tinubu. He's not the only person who have said this. We've heard some governors make such remark as well, that they are supporting Tinubu. So is this not a way of having the opposition, the ruling party in the opposition?
The big question is, do we really have opposition politics in Nigeria? Do we really have opposition politics? I mean, you're in a country where a governor often jump ship, they cross carpet and go to parties where they think their own personal political ambition be favored. For instance, most governors, after their second tenure, begin to look at the party that is like president candidate. So we don't really have opposition politics in the real sense of the word, because we don't have politicians who have political ideologies. We have politicians who are political businessmen who go to where their net is fed at. That is the truth. But having said that, when you talk about support or throwing your weight behind, my problem is if you are supporting him on the basis of partnering with the center or working with the center to advance our interests, that is not a problem. But declaring support that sounds political actually defeats the purpose of party politics, not just opposition politics, but party politics. Parties are supposed to be run on the basis of ideologies. And I don't expect opposition governors to be hostile. No, they can't. Because we are in the same country and we are supposed to actually make the nation work. But I don't expect them also to control to Mr. President or, become bootlicking governors. That is not good for democrats too. Because the essence of having states, the way it's fashioned in our constitution, is so that each state will look at what is the best for the people of that state while working within the framework provided by the nation. So if the governor dumps his thinking cap and then becomes a praise singer for a president, that can compromise the whole concept of the presidential system of government that gives the governor some degree of autonomy. So if they are declaring political support for Mr. President, as it were, that is not only against the spirit of democracy, that will weaken their capacity to look out for what is best for their people. That will weaken their capacity to become independent-minded enough to look at how to generate revenue, generate creative projects, and mobilize their people to become resourceful. That was the foundation for the successful regional system that we had. Once people begin to think of how to beg for money from the center, run around with Mr. President, join him everywhere he's going, then you've lost your capacity to focus on leadership in your state. But the most serious danger is the political aspect, where we may not get to that situation where the center becomes the place where they just come to share the money and fraternize and go home. There should still be that spirit of opposition, in the sense that they should be able to call the center to order. When a governor speaks, he carries weight. When a governor, an ex-governor, criticizes the president, it makes news. People discuss it. So if all of them queue behind him and support him, in quotes, politically speaking, it means that even when they make mistakes or try to go the wrong way, the people who matter will not be able to speak out. And that may not be good for our democracy. On the other hand, I don't expect governors to fight Mr. President because they're not in the same party. I mean, this is a case of looking at the framework. The framework is work with your state And if you're in opposition, watch what the government is doing. If it's not going to favor your state or the country, you speak out intelligently without insulting anybody, without being necessarily hostile, but make your point so that we'll have that balance of power between the center and the state. And then every Nigerian, whether you won the election or not the election, will have a say.
Okay, with that being said, let's move on to more headlines. Let's talk about, Sanu and Nasu drama at the moment. On the Punch, it says Sanu Nasu berate minister of a half-pay promise. On Daily Sun, it says Sanu rejects federal government half-salary payment plan. Let me just give us a little bit of flesh so we understand the story. The SANU, which is the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, yesterday rejected the federal government's plan to pay its member half salary for the 4 months withheld salaries. And we saw the Minister of Education just during the holidays on Wednesday reveal that SANU and NASU, which is the Non-Academic Staff Union, will get half of their withheld salaries if the president approves the payment. And now SANU and NASU are now berating this that why would this be done? But they were not the only body that went on this particular strike. ASU also went on strike, but they were paid their full salaries. Now it's time for SANU. They haven't been paid, months even after, the strike. And even when you're now proposing to pay, you're now saying if the president approves it, they'll be paid half salary rather than their full salaries, which have been withheld for 4 months.
Well, it's a Nigerian thing. First of all, we don't have any pattern for doing things. We don't have the capacity to play by the rules. I've said it clearly several times. It doesn't make sense to discriminate against one group or two groups and then favor some groups, maybe because they are the face of the university in the sense that they are the people in the classroom. But you can't run the university if the academic staff don't work. That is the truth of the matter. And it also shows lack of prioritization. It shows that we don't look at things on a sectoral basis. What do I mean by that? We were clapping a few days ago about the fact that, finally, we have the student loan bill, passed and everything. Now it's El-Rufai, the students can now obtain loans to go to school. The question is to go to which schools? Schools that are always on strike. If you are going to fund student loans, you should think of how to make the staff of these schools work. That is, you shouldn't be thinking of this issue of owing them, they go on strike, you negotiate, promises, you fail to fulfill the promises, they go on strike again. And so when you are now giving students loans to go to school, listen to this important question. Now he's supposed to spend 4 years in school, and then you compare him to take loans when he's spending 7 years in school. Who pays for the extra 3 years? Is it the student or the government? Have you ever thought about that? So you are making me take loans, and I'm sustaining myself for 3 extra years to read a course that should have taken maybe 4 years. And then I'm taking loans, and you expect me to pay for the loan. Meanwhile, it's the responsibility of the politician that is stretching my academic career. So if we have a government that is sensitive and leaders that think things through, they should realize that if you want to sanitize education, you don't just talk about giving young people access, which is good. You also talk about the other issues surrounding education, especially the fact that the schools should not only be open consistently, but be able to provide quality education. And so it's sad that our government does not value education. If you just want to put it simply, we have politicians who don't value education. Why? Because their kids don't go to these schools. Their kids study abroad. And even when our schools are shut, they have the effrontery to post graduation pictures of their own children graduating to fancy universities all over the world. And so I'm not interested in whether Sam is on strike or Nasu is complaining, or they are not interested in those things really, because their kids don't go to the same schools. We need to get to that point where if you are in public service or in political office, your children must be part of the Nigerian system, education, medical care and all that. If they want all of us to study abroad, they should make it possible. They should give us student loan in pounds and dollars so we pay abroad. But if they want us to be here, they should make our schools functional. So I think it's that these guys would pay ASU and refuse to pay San and NASU, and they are offering them pittance, or take half, take 1/4. No, it shows lack of respect. It shows that you're not even thinking things through, because at the time you were being asked, you should have known that Fanu and Natu were also going to ask you for their money. So I think we should begin to look at things from a holistic perspective, from a long-term perspective, not this knee-jerk approach. Every small thing that happens, we just throw some money at it, and then, of course, throw some money at it. Ultimately, they will also throw some money at Fanu and Nasu, and we'll wait for the next fight and the next problem. It shows that our leaders are not thinking. They should learn to think things through. Share this money, budget money according to needs, prioritize. Explain to us why they are making the choices they are making on our behalf. Even consult us as necessary. That's why it's a democratic consultation. Then we will have stable education, stable healthcare. The things that matter to us will be properly provided for.
Okay. Apologies for that. Anyway, away from that, let's talk about the Minister of Works currently, David Umahi. He is currently in the news, and that is because of the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, which is being constructed by the federal government of Nigeria. And yesterday he was at select television station. In fact, all through the week he has been at several television stations. But what Nigerians have been talking about, especially regarding this highway construction, is the cost, what the federal government has put the cost at. And according to the statements by David Umahi, he has said that the government is now constructing this highway at a total cost of 4 billion naira per kilometer, and not the 8 billion naira as wrongly reported by even the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. And this coastal highway is supposed to be a 700-kilometer project. If my mathematics doesn't fail me, if you do the calculation, 4 billion naira multiplied by 700 kilometer, which is 4 billion per kilometer. That's 4 billion times 700 kilometer. That would be about 2.8 trillion naira to fix, get this project to its conclusion. This figure has raised a lot of, responses from Nigerians. That is this the amount? In fact, the amount per kilometer is what is even worrisome. Some are saying 4 billion naira for 1 kilometer. Which construction engineer will be doing this? Some Nigerians have even started, putting all the figures together. If you go on social media, some people have even started putting construction figures together and how they arrived at it. But the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has slammed the statement by David Umahi, and according to him, he said the coastal highway, this is what Atiku have said, is a highway to fraud and waste. That this is waste, this is the figures are fraudulent, very trumped up. So many allegations are, reportedly thrown around by the former vice president as regards this. And another worrying segment of this entire story, besides the money which has been earmarked for this project, is that David Umahi, in a television show, mentioned that an average of 3,000 naira will be the cost of toll once this project is completed. At toll points per day, people will be paying at least 3,000. He said this is what he's projecting. That cars will pay like 1,500 naira to pass through, and then trucks could be like 5,000 naira. So he has put the average totally at 3,000 naira, for vehicles passing that particular project once it's completed. Putting all of this together, the figures that the government is paying, the statements credited to Atiku Abubakar, and the amounts that Nigerians will have to pay as toll. What do you have to say about all of this?
I don't want to say that I agree with Atiku Abubakar because some people may misunderstand me, but the truth is that I love the poetic description of calling it highway to fraud and highway to all of those other things. The truth is that we run a very opaque administration in Nigeria. There was a time I sat on the anti-corruption roundtable, a team of Nigerians who looked at corruption in Nigeria, drawn from across the country. And after our analysis, we found out that Nigeria has the highest cost per kilometer for road construction in Africa, or one of the highest in the world. I was part of the team that conducted that research. That was many years ago, so the figures are not relevant now, more than 10 years ago. But the challenge is that in Africa, our cost per kilometer for roads actually more than was at that time more than double the cost of road per kilometer in similar terrain. That is more than double the cost for some other countries. And that speaks a whole lot to the fact that we just defraud ourselves for no reason. You see, we use the money that we should use to give ourselves 4 or 5 highways to just do one. Because somebody should tell us, you are calling it a coastal highway. You cannot tell me that the soil from Lagos to Calabar is exactly the same kind of soil, that you have swampy area across the board or you have unstable soils across the board. There are differences. So you can't say, oh, it's 4 billion per kilometer. Maybe you mean an average of 4 billion per kilometer, but that is mind-blowing. If you want us to have information, you should give us proper information. And that is where I also challenge Nigerians. We have the members of Korean and other professional engineering bodies, Nigerian Society of Engineers, Korean. I think we should get to a point where professional bodies should also be able to come to our aid by telling us what should be at this time, inflation and others considered, the reasonable amount for construction of roads per kilometer on different kinds of soils. We need to have that information from people who know. Yes, we can sit down and estimate, but we need to also get to that point where we are patriotic enough to provide information so that when politicians want to defraud us, credible institutions, if they are afraid, then they should just give out the information without necessarily taking ownership. So let us know that this is wrong, because I know that it doesn't sound right. And based on my experience, where we calculated that Nigeria has the highest price per kilometer, I am not surprised. It's something I've already known, that we use road construction to defraud our people. That is why many governors construct roads and refuse to pay salaries, because they cannot pay part of the salary of the teachers. They cannot collect kickback from civil servants, but they do all kinds of magic road construction. And because Nigerians have suffered because of bad roads, when Nigerians see these roads, they don't ask questions about the quality and about the cost. So we need to get to that point where we don't just celebrate the so-called performance of politicians, but we want to ask ourselves, at what cost? Because if we send you on errand and we give you money, we need to ask you, do we have change? How much did it cost? But we don't ask those questions. So I think we need to get to that point where we begin to ask. And I would challenge Engineer El-Rufai to give us a breakdown. They have claimed that they want to be transparent in this administration. Let him tell us how they arrived at that gargantuan amount. I'm talking about people paying so much to pass through the road. Who will administer the toll gates? We have been in this before, where people would collect money from toll gates until the roads were bad. We've been in a system where they use toll gate administration to patronize politicians. So he didn't tell us clearly who will administer the money. How do we make sure that this money will go back into road maintenance? At the time the roads are new, we may not need maintenance. But assuming we are taking loans for the project, how do we make sure that the money goes back to where it should go to? So we need to answer a lot of questions, because we've suffered in this country and we are still suffering. That's the painful part. These guys look us in the face and tell us lies and tell us things that will make our hearts bleed. And we just talk about it, complain, and we go home. We need evidence-based conversation. So I'm challenging people who are in road construction, who do estimates or contractors, tell us the truth. Don't even necessarily take ownership or come and talk on radio or television. But just let us begin to challenge corruption from our own desks, from our own small corners. Let us begin to challenge these guys who think that we are so dumb that they will put anything, forgetting that other countries also construct roads, and individuals and companies also construct roads, and they don't pay this kind of money. So I think it's a disservice to Nigeria that we are not transparent about how we administer this project, and we waste money. And it's because we waste money that it looks as if Nigeria is poor. Nigeria is still wealthy as we speak, but the way we waste our resources makes it impossible for us to get the best out of what we have. I think Engineer El-Rufai should give us further breakdown on how they arrived at that cost, justify the cost, how do they intend to manage the money accruing from the toll gate, and how do they also ensure that we get a quality road that will give us at least 50 years lifespan. not just these roads that will last for 4 years, 5 years, I will begin to patch them again. We need to have details, not speeches.
Do they patch a 4 billion naira per Mr. Larry, do they patch a 4 billion per kilometer road? Is it possible that they will now have to patch it after a couple of months? Would Nigeria even
in Nigeria? We saw Abuja. We saw Abuja Lokoja Road. How many? Abuja Lokoja Road, as it was being constructed, before they finished the contract proper, some parts were already failing. And that is an embarrassment. If you want to do a road, you do your plan properly, appropriate money for the road, then you do the job. And then let's have at least 30 years. But for a major highway that's properly, at least 30 years. We've seen roads. On Ishowere Road that was done when Nigeria was serious, at least reasonably so. The about infrastructure development lasted close to 30 years with all this with little or no maintenance. But what we have now is that you're doing a road, a very critical road like Abuja to Lokoja, and before you finish the road, that people will be confused about what you're doing. You're doing this part, you're not doing that part. You leave this bridge, you abandon that one. Before you finish the road, which will take maybe 4 or 5 years, the others have started failing. I'm telling you because I passed that way. When they were doing it and parts were failing. And that is very bad. So when I say that we are going to patch the 4 billion road, I stand to be corrected. Let's watch and see. In the first place, the 4 billion per kilometer road is no matter how you stretch your imagination. Are they going to build a bridge all the way from Lagos to Calabar? Are they going to put the whole road on fire? I don't understand. These guys are shameless when they do their financial manipulation. They don't even think about what we think or what we say. They just say don't mind them, they will talk. When they finish talking, we'll still do the job. And we need to get to that point where we do evidence-based arguments. That is why I'm challenging engineers to ask for the soil survey. They did soil analysis for the route. So let them release the soil analysis so that other professionals, independent bodies will also give their own quote of what it should take to do a kilometer of road on the kind of soil that they have. They will tell us now that it's difficult terrain. That's the next thing they will tell us. Oh, but South Part is difficult terrain. That they have tried very hard to even make it. No, we shouldn't listen to that story. Let them be transparent. Let them tell us how they arrived at that figure. It's mind-boggling. It's actually mind-boggling. It reminds me of the famous street light that will light up the sky for all of us at 100-something million. It's not certain.
Okay, finally, before we let you go, Mr. Larry, let's check out what is happening in Rivers State. It seems like Odeli is now in support of what is happening in Rivers State, especially standing behind the governor, Siminalayi Fubara. And according to a recent report, Peter Odeli, who was the former governor of Rivers State, has now declared that Fubara, the incumbent, as the political leader of the state. He made this statement at the inauguration of a particular facility in the Ndoni Egbema local government area, where that he donated to the state government. According to him, he actually said he was thanking Siminalayi Fubara for standing up to defend the interest of the Rivers people. As much as this project was just to donate to the state government a health facility, but he actually, found his way to put in that statement and that sentiment that he has for Fubara, that Fubara should keep standing his ground. He's in support of him as he defends the interests of the Rivers people. And we know who this shot is thrown at.
Well, Wike is fighting a battle we can't win, really. Because, sometimes we don't think about the consequences of the battle we fight. Sometimes to fight a battle where it's head, you lose. Tail, you lose. That is whichever way it goes. Because when you talk about losing here, you are not just talking about whether you are able to rattle Fubara or even impeach him. Those are not the issues. But as when you are even able to do that, the impeachment is not likely. So the question becomes, at what political cost to your own career? We are not thinking about that. We think that Nigerians are so dumb that we can do anything and get away with it. But we are becoming wiser. So I think Wike should realize that he's fighting a losing battle. And the way Fubara carries himself gets him a lot of sympathy. In any case, Nigerians generally are tired of the Godfather syndrome. And we are aware that it's a road that leads nowhere. When a man leaves office and wants to continue controlling that office, it means that the man has dubious intentions, and you can vote him. I mean, you have served your tenure. You've done everything you want to do in 8 years. What's your interest there? You should be able to influence honestly as an elder statesman. You should be able to make your contribution, like the Peter Delis and like the Rotimi Amechi. You can make comments. Your comments should carry weight. You should influence the political ecosystem of the state, but you shouldn't expect to dictate and then hold the wallet and be dispensing money when you're not the governor anymore. It doesn't work that way. And Nigerians don't want that system to continue.
Okay.
So I would suggest that we should, remove the ego from this whole thing. Okay. Think more clearly and begin to find a way to settle this feud with Mubara. Because when two elephants fight, the grass will suffer, but the two elephants sustain injuries. So you should save the grasses from suffering. I should save the two of them from the injuries, political and otherwise, that they are sustaining presently.
Anyway, thank you so much, Mr. Larry Gwegu, for joining us today on the show Front Page Review. It's been an awesome time having this conversation with you all through the week, even though yesterday and 2 days ago we had to stand it down because of the holidays, so people can enjoy and not bother themselves about some of the issues going on.
Very sensitive approach to journalism, yes.
Thank you so much. We'll join you next week, and hopefully you're back from Kenya. When are you coming back? And please ensure to bring back the Kenyan goodies.
Yes, let's see what we can bring from here, but I should be back on sometime next week.
Okay, amazing.
I should be back on sometime next week. And I'm going to be there. I'm used to Nigeria, and I'm not going to run away. I'm not going to tap out. We'll be there, we'll fix it together.
Thank you so much, Mr. Larry. Have a great morning. That has been the Front Page Review right here on VOP 96.1 FM. Coming up next is the Trading Post. If you have any business that you want to advertise, you're a market seller, you're a pepper seller, whatever it is, you can advertise your goods and service for as low as 5,000 naira. Anyway, let's get to listen to the Trading Post, and all the information you will need is on there. My name is Simeon Sunday. Catch you